It has been a decade since I've tried every single millionaire productivity optimization life hack that you could think of. From waking up at 5 a.m., meditating, and setting goals for creating a to-do list and regularly exercising. I can confidently say that all of that has helped and I've made more money as a result. Welcome to Finance Dojo. We aim to be the best personal finance educational channel you'll ever need. Click that subscribe button and the notification bell right now so you won't miss out. Although I wanted to take a different approach with this video and go through the most critical investing habits that have helped me go from a few $1,000s to over $20 million in the period of little over a decade, I believe 100% of these strategies will assist anyone who follows them. Having stated that, let's get started. First, invest as quickly as possible. When it comes to investing, I have to say this is the most important piece of advice you'll ever get. I know that some may seem obvious to some, but the truth is that most individuals will not follow it. That forthcoming crash everyone thinks is going to happen every year now, or they think what the rush would be if I could just get in next week or next month or even next year. They'll keep delaying till that happens. It won't make a difference in the slightest. You see, one of the major advantages you have as a young person is that you have plenty of it. In addition to being able to ride off any short-term market swings, the enormous benefit of compound interest is also available to you. You may purchase a mega yacht with a support boat for the money you put into, and your investment will continue to grow at an ever-increasing pace. You have an option. As I'm about to tell you, you can either utilize this information to earn a lot of money, or you may disregard it, and only time will tell how much that cost you. Consider this. If you start investing $100 a month at the age of 20 and earn an 8% return, by the time you're 65, your $100 a month investment will have grown to about $540,000. If you say to yourself, I have my entire life to invest, and you start investing $100 a month at the age of 25 instead of 20, by the time you're 65, that money will only have grown to $361,000, a difference of $177,000, only by waiting 5 years to spend $100 a month. What's more eye-opening is that you only invested $6,000 in the first 5 years. Investing $6,000 between the ages of 20 and 25 will earn you an extra $177,000 later in life. I was in overdrive investing mode during my whole 20s because I understood the power of compound interest and knew I would never have another investment chance like it. That's why I saved whatever I earned, invested as soon as I could, and maximized my earnings to the point where I can now pretty much buy everything I want, even though I prefer to spend money on smart assets. Second, avoid attempting to time the market. This is perhaps the most straightforward and truthful piece of investment advice you'll ever hear, yet it's also the hardest to put into practice. That's because we all want to think that we have what it takes to beat the market, and it's simple to imagine that this time will be different. If you had just purchased and held since 2006, you would have made a 10.66% return. But if you tried to time the market, you would have missed out on the top 10 finest trading days in 15 years. Your return reduces to 5%, and if you miss the top 30 trading days for 15 years, you'll end up with a negative 1.8% return. People would trade anyway. So another research looked at 83,000 eToro investors who made more than 3 transactions each year, and the results were dismal. The average earnings from each trader over 12 months were minus 36%, and at the end of the day, 79% of them had lost money. Only 1 out of every 5 stock traders made a profit, and statistically, you were nearly as likely to lose everything. The more transactions you make and the more you try to time the market, the worse your total return gets, according to a study. On the other hand, performance demonstrates that a 20-year stock market holding time has never yielded a negative result. So, Without going into too many details and research, here's what you need to know. For the great majority of investors, the purchase and hold investing approach is not only the safest, but also the most rewarding. In fact, purchasing into the markets right now, regardless of where it's priced, has outperformed the dollar cost average 71% of the time. Meaning, you're 70% more likely to make more money by investing everything right now than by spreading your investment over a longer period. Third, just invest in what you are familiar with. People do it all the time and don't listen, so it appears to be common sense. They invest in something because someone told them that it was a good idea, or they noticed something increasing in price and don't want to lose out since everyone is talking about it, or they blindly follow someone who appears to know what they're doing. I'm not suggesting that you need to be an expert on the stock market in the United States, but you should know where your money is going and how much your brokerage is billing you. How do they make money? What has been the historical return on that investment? And how much volatility do you think you'll be able to tolerate realistically? If you can't explain why your money is best suited for that specific investment and can't answer those questions, it's usually best not to invest. Trust me, even if it means missing out on some possible earnings by blindly following other people or just plunging into things you don't know anything about, you'll save a lot more money than you'll lose in opportunity cost. Especially in this market where practically everything is being raised as the epidemic progresses. It's also too tempting to believe that investing is straightforward and that you'll always make money. But this isn't always the case. It's important to realize that investment is cyclical. Some investments can lose money for years on end, which you should anticipate before investing. As a result, you'll be a better investor since you'll be less inclined to sell at a loss and more confident in your judgments because you understand the basics and conduct your own study. Fourth, never invest money that you don't need right now. Here's the thing, when you invest your money, there's always a danger that the value of your investment may decrease as soon as you purchase it. The reason why investing should be a long-term strategy is that you can't predict where the markets will be in a few months or even a few years, and anything can happen, as we've seen. But you can look back historically and see that your chances of coming out ahead profitable over 10 to 20 years are pretty good. As a result, investing any money that you'll need in the short future is typically not a smart idea, as you risk losing a lot of money, as we saw in 2020. And you'd be screwed if you invested your money right before you needed it in April. If, on the other hand, you invested that money you knew you wouldn't need for the next 10 years and held on a little longer, you'd be sitting on a 30% profit simply for hanging in there and doing nothing. When it comes to this, I don't invest if I know I'll need the money in the next 1 to 2 years for a down payment on a house, to pay a tax bill, or to save money for anything specific. Instead, I'm probably going to put it in a high-yield savings account and forget about it. Sure, I'll miss out on some possible profit, but it also means I won't lose any money, and it ensures that I'll have all I need at the time I need it with no risk. The point is, when I invest, I treat it as if I'm putting money aside for the next 20 years, and whatever happens between now and then is irrelevant. Fifth, you must constantly invest consistently. Investing is a way of life for me. It's not something I do here and there, and it's not a pastime that will weary you after a few weeks or months. Investing, like brushing your teeth twice a day or going to the gym, should be a consistent habit. When you get into a practice of constantly investing, it tends to stay after a time, and you do it without even thinking about it. If you're wondering why this has to be done consistently, consider the following. If you invest $10,000 now and do nothing for the next 30 years, you'll end up with $100,000 if you get an 8% return. Instead, if you invested a $200 a month and did so regularly over the same time, you would have $317,000 or 3 times more money simply by spending less money upfront and more consistently. Here's another illustration. Many individuals can decrease their weekly expenditure by $100. If you do nothing but invest your $100 weekly savings, preferably in a Roth IRA so it's tax-free, you'll have nearly $2.3 million saved up in 45 years. That implies that with a $100 monthly investment, you might become a tax-free multimillionaire. That's what occurs when you're serious about saving and investing. Another advantage is that constantly saving protects you against a lost decade situation in which the stock market trades very flat. Using the years 2000 to 2012 as an example, assuming you only bought once, you would have gained a total return of 4.66% over 12 years, or 32% if dividends are factored in. If you buy month after month, regardless of where the market is trading, your cumulative return climbs to 24%. And if dividends are reinvested, your return jumps to 42%. To make sure you don't forget about it, automate your investing as much as possible. For example, set up automatic withdrawals into a wide index fund without even thinking about it. When something is out of sight, it is out of mind. You don't have to be actively involved with it after that. Just know it's there and you're good to go. So, combined with living frugally, maximizing your income, and saving, those 5 behaviors have shaped my whole investment career. I can't remember a single investment that I've made without taking into account each of the 5 issues we've discussed. As always, this video is for educational purposes only and not financial advice. You should always do your own research and speak to a financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.